Hello, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond. My name is Taylor, and welcome back to episode 19 of the OverAchievers Podcast. Yeah! Today we'll be doing something that I honestly never thought I'd be doing on this channel, or at least on this podcast, and that's covering a Nintendo game because, as many of you know, they don't have traditional achievements. However, they do have collection goals and other sorts of goals, which we'll find out more in depth from my fantastic guest today, a friend who I've made here in Korea who's wonderfully amazing and super dedicated because I could never do what she has done in any Nintendo game, let alone today's game. Please help me welcome Rachel!
Woot. You scared me with your audio, your intro.
I'm sorry.
It was a lot closer to the mic.
No, I was the same distance, I just get a little louder.
Oh, it scared me a little bit. Hi.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So good.
So as I die.
Yeah, don't do that. Generally not recommended.
Fair. So, Rachel, outside of being scared, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Actually, it's actually good weather today.
Yeah, no, it's not like death ray hot anymore.
Mm-mm.
And I hope it never goes back to it, but I know it will.
It comes, it goes.
So, what is the game you will be introducing us to today?
Well, let's do Breath of the Wild. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. My sweet baby.
Okay, fair enough. So, how, for people who have never played it, or for somehow live under a rock and have never even seen this game, could you give us a brief rundown of the gameplay general objective, and explain to everyone that despite the naming scheme, you do not actually play as Zelda for the most part?
No, you do not. Although generally the game has you rescuing poor Zelda from something. In Breath of the Wild, it's their kind of the title for the Wii U and for the Nintendo Switch. It's their first foray into a truly open world Zelda. All Zelda games have generally been pretty large and with big maps, and you can do a lot in them. But this one was their breaking the mold, so to speak. So the general gist of the storyline is you wake up in a cave, and a mysterious female voice calls out to you and says, "Help me!" And you run out. And you don't generally have an objective for like the first solid second of gameplay, other than to follow an old man. But you soon realize that you are a hero named Link, and you have to go save Zelda. And with Breath of the Wild, you are both trying to get to the castle and power yourself back up so that you don't die, because generally you don't want to do that in any Zelda game, in any game at all. So you're given a lot of freedom in the game. You can choose to do most of the objectives in any order. You have 4 main points, which is go deal with the giant robots that are walking around.
Okay.
There is a bunch of tiny little shrines that you can do, and by a bunch I mean over 200. Or is it 200? Yeah. Let me double check that real quick. I'm getting breath.
No worries. We appreciate live fact check on the podcast, because then it not only encourages the aggressive comments, which I've never actually gone on the podcast.
I'm getting breath.
But then we can also get the comments like, "Oh, well, I was here too early."
I'm getting Breath of the Wild and the new one mixed up. No, it's 120 in Breath of the Wild. There's a there's a lot in the other one. But
Lord.
Once you figure out all the shrines, and once you do the 4 robots, the guardians the divine beasts as they're called, you can then go fight the big bad Ganon himself in the castle. However, you don't have to do that. As many people have done, you can just jump off the cliff and run to the castle and do your best. So that's
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people do like a naked speedrun against Ganon, and it confuses
the
me.
naked speedrun is iconic at this point, where people will just launch themselves off the Great Plateau, which is the beginning area, and just go do Ganon. I am a chicken, and I don't do that. Because I will die. I'm not that skilled. But
fair. I would die too.
So at any point in the story, you can choose, I am done with this, I want to go do X or Y or Z. And it gives you a lot of freedom, a lot of choice in the story. Although I will say, there's a lot of experimentation. You have to figure out how to do 80% of things on your own.
Fair enough. Okay. Okay. Now, I will say I have seen plenty of gameplay of this game. I have watched many playthroughs. I tried it a little bit myself, and I got way too frustrated with the weapon degradation system, so I kind of bounced off of it, and I'm hesitant to play the new one. But I do have a little bit of experience with this game in particular.
Yeah, the weapon degradation is new. The Breath of the Wild was the first time they've had something like that. We've had Zelda games in the past have had some sort of item you need to have a certain amount of to use, so bombs and arrows, and a couple of the games have had magic powder that you need to have a certain amount of in your pockets at all times in order to actually like get anywhere. Weapon degradation in and of itself is new, and it is frustrating. I'll give people that. It's annoying to deal with, but I kind of like it because you don't get to have the weapon that you like the whole time. You have to think on your feet. But there is no in-game measurement to know when it's going to go critical, other than like the last few swings where it goes, oh, your weapon's breaking. You might want to do something about that.
Yeah, and it's just, when I saw that, I was like, I don't know about this one, Chief. And then especially when I saw the Master Sword, yes, it doesn't break, it just loses energy, but it's like, it's the literal Master Sword. Like, why can you not let me have this just as, like, the end game thing? Because you need, how many hearts do you even need to pull that thing out of the stone?
I think you need about 13.
Which is a lot. Like, and it feels like, because it's such a tall order for you to go and get this thing, that it should be able to just be used at your leisure, just so you can kind of like have that kind of end game power trip, at least against any non-major boss monsters.
Yeah, I think at least with Breath of the Wild, because you can literally just sort of run to the sword and grab it, they needed to have some way of making sure it was actually like an achievement to get. But it is... See, like, I don't mind the Master Sword degrading. It doesn't bother me. It's a little annoying, but it doesn't bother me. But I get why people don't want it to break. But as soon as you get the sword, it defeats the purpose of using anything else.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Just, I don't know, it to me, because like I played older Zelda games. I'm not like a diehard Legend of Zelda fan, but like to me the Master Sword is iconic, and it feels so neutered in its capabilities in this game, when it was literally the only thing you were able to use in other games.
Well, see, the fun thing is in a lot of other games, there are other weapons that you can use. I think probably the most famous of them is the Big Goron sword from Ocarina of Time, and there's even two versions of that sword.
I forgot about that one.
There's a version of it that breaks if you slam it against a wall too many times, and there's a version that takes like 8 different side quests that doesn't break. And that thing's cool. Same sword, it looks exactly the same. It's just one breaks and one doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how to get the broken one. I only know how to get the non-broken one. So.
Fair enough. Okay. Now, given we're on this topic, what is your experience with the Legend of Zelda franchise? Because as for anyone who actually knows Zelda, it is rather expansive.
Yeah. I have played nearly every single Zelda game. I have not beaten every single Zelda game, but I have played most of them. There's just a couple of like the handheld Game Boy ones that I own. Haven't played it yet. But I've been playing it since before I could read. So.
Oh my.
Yeah, my dad used to narrate the story to me.
Oh, that's so cute.
Which I think goes to show how old Legend of Zelda is.
Yeah.
I
don't want to think of
My
that.
mother used to play the first game. She always brags. She made an entire map out of cardboard of the original first Zelda game and marked on this cardboard map where all the secrets were.
And see, these are the kinds of experiences that like kids these days will never get.
But it means
we can't go back to those.
It means I can never get away with saying, "Wait, it doesn't save here." My parents know. My parents know exactly when the damn game saves and when it doesn't.
Oh boy.
Yeah. No,
okay.
In a beautiful moment of reverse teaching, though, my dad recently got the newest Zelda game, Tears of the Kingdom, and I have been telling him where all the secrets are now. And I feel that's just first full circle, it's great. He's not great at it.
Oh, that's so wholesome.
He's not great at it, because he doesn't understand the second joystick too great. But, I'll give him props. He's still playing the game. But I called him at least over the stretch of like a month. I called him like 4 or 5 times, and he's like, yeah, I'm still on the island. Dude, how are you still on the island?
I'm gonna find him. I'm gonna send him this podcast when it releases. I'm like, your daughter was just roasting you for the entire internet to hear.
If you can find him, go right ahead.
I mean, I feel like it wouldn't be too difficult, but I'm not going to say anything in recording just on the off chance because I don't want to give away details, but I feel like I could do it.
Probably. He's not exactly hidden on the internet.
I mean, most things aren't. And even when they are, you can still find them.
Yep.
Anyway. Part of the reason I was asking about the other series, have you played Legend of the Four Swords?
Yeah. Well, which one?
Okay. Let's just say any of them, because, like, there's something that really bothered me in terms of the English naming scheme, because they could have named it something so much better than Legend of the Four Swords.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of the point of the game, though. It's like, you split into 4 parts.
Yeah, but it should have been a chain gang, because they're all links.
Oh... Yeah, but I don't know. Now, the original, the Four Swords game that I remember playing was on the GameCube. And that one was excellent. But...
now I'm just thinking of, bad Link-related puns that do with emails.
Mm-hmm. Oh, boy.
Also, I do want to point out before you go any further, this is massively derailed already, and I'm totally fine with that. A really sad factoid about Legend of Zelda is part of the reason Link is a mostly silent protagonist is that his original voice actor had recorded the combat lines for the game, but before he was able to record any voice lines, tragically, as far as I understand it, fell down a set of stairs and died.
Oh no!
So in memoriam of the original actor, they only used his recorded combat lines and have kept Link as an otherwise silent protagonist.
Ah, see, I never knew that, but that's really touching, actually. I like that.
So this is just, honestly, one of my most wholesome episodes, which I shouldn't be surprised by. It's a Nintendo game. But we're also about to get massively dark with, like, dead societies and horrific war crimes, which is also very, like, Nintendo adjacent, so...
Yeah.
On brand.
I mean, I've watched countless Mario YouTube videos of is Mario a war criminal, but
also, like, the number of Pokemon theories
that
have either war crimes or dead children or all this other stuff.
The entire storyline of Pokemon X and Y is just war crime central.
The manga, like the original manga, has them quite literally committing acts of terrorism with like Dragonite and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, those are going to be a whole separate series of videos at some point, I'm sure. So I've been kind of skirting around this, but I guess I should probably actually tackle it. Given this game does not, like every Nintendo game, does not have traditional achievements, how many things, how many baubles, how many little things do you have to do or collect or whatever to get 100% in this game and effectively get all, air quotes, achievements?
Well, at least with Breath of the Wild, the only conceivable mark of 100% is once you actually kill Ganon at the end of we'll say the main section of the game. What it does is there's no natural New Game Plus, I'll say. What it does is it kind of goes into star post-game mode, and it unlocks on the map a total percentage explored, essentially. So it tells you in your menu how much of the map you have seen, because every location in Breath of the Wild is labeled. And 99% of the map is just references to older Zelda games, which is really fun if you've played most of the games. You go, ah, damn, they named it after this. I wonder why. And then you go around the area and it's somewhat of a hint at whatever it was that the map point is referencing. So there's that one thing. The other thing that it unlocks is in the quest menu. It tells you how many main quests you have completed, how many side quests, and how many shrine quests. So not every single shrine has a quest attached to it, but there are a number that have some extra gimmick that you have to do in order to get inside of it. One of which is the bane of my existence. There's the side of a hill where you're supposed to shoot an arrow between two holes in... It's a bunch of, like, rocks, and they have holes in them. You're supposed to shoot two arrows between two of the holes, an arrow between two of the holes. And it's like a physics nightmare.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, none of them line up. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head how to finish that one. I think I looked it up online, not gonna lie. And then the final page, so to speak, that tells you, quote-unquote, 100% is the compendium, which is a new thing. Well, semi-new. The idea of, like, collecting things on a camera is not new to Zelda, because you could do something similar in Wind Waker, but there's not really a reward, so to say, in Wind Waker. Mostly because you have to actually, like, you have to beat the game first in Wind Waker in order to actually, like, properly use the camera, that island function. Because you need a colored camera, and in order to get a colored camera and get all of the statues for that thing, you need to have beaten the game. You can get a colored camera before that, but you're not going to get all the statues. Whatever, it's fine. That's Wind Waker. But generally, people will try and complete all of these first before doing other things. The only other thing that you could do for, like, 100%ing is you can get all the armor. You can upgrade all the armor to the last slot, which in Breath of the Wild is actually kind of stupid easy to do once you kind of know what you're doing. Because it does not cost money. It costs money in the new game, which is frustrating.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, like in-game currency or, like, real money? In-game
currency, but, like, that's like an ungodly amount of in-game money.
Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, you see, I get why, but at the same time, they just patched out the thing that I use to cheat money, so...
Oh,
so I'm salty just a little bit, you know. Everything's fine. I get it. You don't want to have glitches in your game, Nintendo, but I liked my frozen meat hack, okay? It was great. And then the other thing that you can collect is all of the horse armor. Which, honestly, most of it comes from side quests. So if you're doing the side quests, you're going to get the horse armor.
Oh god, I'm getting Oblivion flashbacks.
This horse armor is just cosmetic, except for one of them. But you need the DLC for that one. So you have to...
Wait, doesn't the DLC also give you, like, a motorcycle?
It does! It's epic!
Obsolete?
It's so... Well, see, the thing is the motorcycle, isn't the smartest of instruments. Unless you
never is.
Unless you've played a lot of racing games or have an extra thumb, you can't really, like... When I drive the motorcycle, I move my hand on the controller a particular way in order to both use the brake and the camera at the same time. Because otherwise it's very difficult to, like, steer and see at the same time. It's not a very...
Oh, fantastic.
Next time I'm playing it around you, I'll show you how I drive it. But I have learned that if you use the brake, you can stop dead and turn really easily, and it's great. But the camera is still interesting. So the other thing is you have to manually drive the motorcycle the entire time. A horse, if you're on a marked path in Breath of the Wild, the horse will automatically follow the path.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it has to be moving at a certain speed, like the mid-range, like you haven't boosted it at all speed, and then it'll just follow the path. Its AI is much smarter in the new game. In Tears of the Kingdom, the AI for the horse is much smarter.
Well, that's good. Okay. So, Did you set out, like, when you first started playing, to 100% it, or did you kind of decide later on, hey, I've got, let's say 85% of all the things, all the trinkets and stuff. Why don't I just get the rest of it?
No, I always try and 100% whatever game I possibly can. Unless my own ability prevents me from doing that. I'm looking at you, Assassin's Creed.
I was looking at me.
I was looking at Assassin's Creed 2. There is this particular mission that I will never finish because I'm not good enough.
Is it Da Vinci's flying mission or his tank mission or whatever?
The damn flying mission.
Yeah.
I will never finish that. But yeah, I like 100%ing games as much as I can because then I know I did everything. I'm not missing anything. And anything else that other people discover, I can go do it if I want to. I didn't miss anything. Okay. I'm gonna go on a tangent real quick here. In Tears of the Kingdom, I was doing something. I was going to get this final reward, and in one of the memories in that game, you see something in the background, and you actually can go to that location and find it. And I sent it to my friend back home, and she was like, "This is making me cry. I hate you." I'm not gonna say what it is because it's huge spoiler, but we both found it and we were like, this is really sad and depressing. But also I love that Nintendo included it. So.
Oh no.
Just another reason why I like 100%ing, because especially with Nintendo games, generally doing more gets you more of the story. So. So you're always rewarded. You'll always get a good experience no matter what you do, with most games. But I would say, especially with Zelda games, the more you do, the more story you get. Even if it's just like this random dude you met on the street.
That makes sense. Okay, so is there like an in-game tracker for how long? Or sorry, no, I'm skipping ahead. Have you returned to Breath of the Wild since you kind of completed everything?
Yes. Once the first commercial for Tears of the Kingdom came out, the first trailer, years and years ago, because I've taken forever to do it, I decided I was going to go back and try and finish it all, but in Master Mode, which is as close to New Game Plus as you can get. The only thing that really changes is that there's a new type of enemy, a new, not type, but rank. All of the enemies, the normal enemies, have like a colored rank depending on how much health and how much they're going to smack you for. So like a red individual of that species, so like a red bokoblin or a red moblin, you can probably punch and they'll pass out. But the silver version is mean, and they added a gold version, and they're terrifying. Because they have an ungodly amount of health. But the only other thing that it added was health regenerates. And kind of the thing behind Breath of the Wild is you could literally run in a circle and like trick an enemy into doing things, but if you do that now in the Master Mode, it will slowly regenerate its health to a point. It doesn't go all the way, which I found out by getting trapped in a cave. I got trapped in a cave with a big dude outside, and I was throwing bombs at him, and yeah, I learned it does not regenerate all the way. Thank you. But I tried to... I didn't remember if I set out to 100% it at that point, because I had already done it, but I wanted to do the story again, and I got distracted by other things and never actually finished it. But I think part of the reason I never finished it was I also told myself I wasn't going to teleport during that run, so I was walking my happy ass everywhere, or riding a horse everywhere.
Oh, no.
Which makes you see a lot of scenery. It was a very good idea, but it does take about 20 times longer. Because it's a very it's a very big map. It's a very big map. Yeah. It wasn't
I remember watching it. Sorry, go ahead.
Wasn't a smart decision. I'm still gonna do it one of these days. I'll finish it, but it wasn't a smart decision.
I remember watching a YouTuber who, actually, it's mostly his content that I discovered Breath of the Wild. Anyway, he was doing a movement challenge, but he could only wind bomb wherever he wanted to go.
Oh god. No.
And that was a nightmare and a half.
No. I saw someone, there was a video I watched on YouTube. Their challenge was, can you beat Breath of the Wild by not climbing? Turns out you can.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as you make it past the first 10 seconds of the game. Because as soon as you leave the Shrine of Resurrection, the very first thing you learn how to do is climb up a wall.
Fair.
And the entirety of that video was, it was only like a 10-minute video, was him moving the 4 boxes that are in that area to try and climb out without actually activating the climbing animation. Because there's a giddy up motion that Link will do to like get over ledges and things, but it's not actually climbing. It doesn't give you the stamina bar. So you can do that. Yeah, it was an interesting thing to watch.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Very ridiculous.
Okay. If you ever want good challenge runs, Small Ant and the previous YouTuber I was mentioning, and if I mention now, I can put them in the tag, is Quinbo Bit.
Oh, okay.
They do some Small Ant's more like professional level, and then Quinn is very much your casual humor kind of level.
Yeah, that's my vibe, is casual humor. I did
Also, he...
No, go ahead.
He loves to call Link Binkus. Binkus.
Yeah, I do miss being able to name Link whatever the hell I wanted. It's the one thing. That's the one thing they've taken away, is you can no longer... You can name your horse whatever you want, but...
Well, because now there's a bit of voice acting where they refer to Link as Link.
As Link, yeah. Now he's actually named.
So it wouldn't make sense to be able to name him anymore, unfortunately.
But it is equally as funny to go through an entire run named Dave. I've done that. Dave, the hero of Legends. Or whenever my dad went through it, he would name himself Dad so he knew which file was his. So it'd be, Dad, you must save the princess! In big capital letters.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it was, like, easy to remember.
Oh, yeah. I will say I have...
So, is there...
I've named some...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I've named some of my horses pretty righteous things, but my sister takes the cake. She named one of her horses, Tibbs, Mr. Tibbs, and Tonka. Like a Tonka truck. The toy? Yeah, it was good.
Oh, nice. So is there, like, an in-game tracker for the amount of time you spent, or do you just have to kind of guesstimate based on yourself?
Well, with the Switch in general, the Switch itself will tell you roughly how long you've been playing a game, but it's not super accurate.
Okay.
Mostly because I know for a fact I have played longer than what it records every once in a while. I think it does it based off of a particular, like, once you reach this point, it will up-click the next thing, because it's only by, like, ooh, I just dropped it. I've got my Switch next to me to check it. Yeah, dropped my Switch from 3 inches away from me. It's real genius.
Nice.
Yeah, like, right now it's registering me playing Pokemon Violet for 70 or more hours. Splatoon for 30 or more hours. But I know for a fact I've played longer than that. Like, Valkyria Chronicles 4, I've definitely played more than 55 hours. So I'm thinking it, like, clicks over at a certain point, but I don't know what their tracker does. And then in the game itself, for Breath of the Wild at least, you had to have the DLC to see this. But there is a, like, route tracker, so to speak. It's called the Hero's Path.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's free in Tears of the Kingdom. They just added it in. They're like, here you go. Everybody liked it. Here you go. In Breath of the Wild, it was a DLC thing. And it doesn't tell you the time, per se, until you go over 300 hours, because then it'll start deleting your previous walking area. Just a little annoying.
Oh my god.
But it's recorded 300 hours of you walking around. So.
Yeah, that's insane.
But yeah, it's just interesting to see, like, your habits. So for me, I was doing 100%. So there's a very distinct section where you can see, you have switched from wandering around to finding every little thing, because it's very meticulous the way I walk around the map. It's like a grid.
Nice.
So, yeah. Although there's a couple of points where I'm clearly running around something for an extended period of time, so the little tracker of Link is just going in circles.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long does it say you have in the game?
For Breath of the Wild, okay. Let's see what it says. Hold up, I gotta find the game. It only saves like the last. It only saves like the last 10 games you've played in order, and I've played other things in the meantime. So I have to quickly put the game in, turn the game on, and then it will tell me. Sorry, Pokemon. We gotta close you. Oh no, it's gonna be so mad at me.
So, for reference, I googled on how long to beat for getting 100% in this game, Breath of the Wild, and it does say about 189 hours, which is oddly specific. So we're gonna call it 190 to be safe.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. If you were to actually do 100% every single thing, yeah, probably.
Oh no.
Well, currently, it's registering me as playing 280 hours or more.
Oh my.
Yeah. But that is across...
So you hit that 300 most likely.
Probably. So that's across both the two files that I've done. So the original file with everything 100% done, and the probably 20 or so hours I did dirt bopping around in the terrible idea of a master mode that I did.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna check the game.
No, fair enough.
To see all my little rewards.
Well, not everyone can do it as fast as other people say they can on the internet, and they're usually lying anyway, so.
Oh, I'm always really slow when I play games. I just like looking at everything. Especially when it's pretty. If a game is pretty, I'm probably gonna spend a hell of a lot of time playing it.
Fair enough. Okay.
Pretty is in the eye of the beholder. A lot of the games I play have very different art styles.
Fair.
Oh god.
Massively fair.
I'm standing on a mountain right now. I just opened the game. I'm standing on a mountain where I used to farm star pieces.
Oh no.
You have my sword.
This is gonna be super interesting.
Yeah.
What were the hardest and easiest accomplishments, let's say? So not using achievements, but accomplishments for you. Whether that be collection or kill quest or whatever. What do you think were the hardest and easiest for you, and then why? Like, what made them so difficult or so easy comparatively?
I gotta drag back all the memories. I think probably the very first Divine Beast I did, because at that point I probably only had like 6 hearts and like a handful of crap to deal with it. And I decided I was gonna go do the one in the desert first. Which was...
Okay, is that the Gerudo one?
The Gerudo one! Yep. Which was not a smart idea. I don't even recommend my friends starting with that one. Yeah, Va Naboris is not the one to start with, even though the power-up is probably the best. Because that particular Thunderblight Ganon is just an asshole. He's a jerk. His whole attack sequence is based off speed. And so you either have to be real good at calling him or getting real good at dodging, and I was not.
Gotcha.
I distinctly remember leaving a couple of times because I had died so many times to make food.
Oh, yeah.
But I wasn't good at making food yet because it was like the first 30 hours of playing. I wasn't good at anything.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And I had, like, not a lot of weapons. So I kept leaving to go find more crappy weapons to come back and try and fight this guy. I just remember being really annoyed and being like, no, you can do this. He's not that hard. You're just being dumb.
It's understandable you were annoyed. I get it. It makes sense.
Yep. But the thing is once you do that particular Divine Beast, everything else becomes easier. Because the power-up is so good. So, yeah, you can just nuke everything that you want to after that.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah, because... Okay, so actually... You know what? No, we're on this topic anyway. Who is your favorite one of the Guardians? Like, who was, out of the 4, who was your favorite?
Oh, God. Out of them as a character.
Yeah.
Probably Urbosa.
Okay.
If you don't ask me about Tears of the Kingdom right now, I have a whole other opinion on those characters. But of the 4 that we're supposed to be friends with in the first game, Urbosa. Because she's just...
Hey.
very pretty.
We love a muscle mommy. Ain't no one complaining about that.
Yep.
Funny enough, sorry, I'm gonna keep talking about Quinn Bobin just because that is my biggest exposure to this game.
Yeah.
And just watching his series, and that was his first introduction to muscular women in video games. And it sparked a whole mini arc of people sending him muscle mommy images from around the internet, and it was just such a funny arc.
Yeah, but
I think my favorite has to be Daruk.
Oh, he's
because
fun.
I'm gonna keep talking about Quinn. As Quinn refers to it, he is, quote, friend-shaped. Anyone fully round or circular is friend-shaped.
All of the Gorons are friend-shaped, and Daruk, definitely, I like him a lot. There's a really cute scene of him in the DLC where you learn he's afraid of dogs. Deathly afraid of dogs.
Runs away from the little puppy.
Yep. And he's just, absolutely terrified of this dog. So, all of the champions have really unique personalities, and I appreciate that. As much as Rivali, I want to punch him. I love his character.
His personality is just edge.
He's just asshole edge, and it's great. And it's beautiful, because you don't have many of those characters that are supposed to be your friend in a game. Mm-hmm. And then Mipha's a sweetheart. She's too cute. But there's a really cute scene with Link, Zelda, and Urbosa in one of the memories, and I really like it. But reason number 2, Urbosa's really fun to play in the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. She's really fun to play.
See, I have that, but I gotta get back into it.
That's a whole other can of worms. That game was interesting.
Yeah. Oof.
I like it. Still haven't finished it.
Fair. It's so long.
Yeah, it's really long. I finished the story. Let's put it at that. Okay. I finished the story. Haven't finished it.
Yeah, I have not.
But Urbosa's really fun to play in that story. Or in that game.
And I mean, the two things I remember about Mipha are A, Sidon, because Sidon is just awesome.
He's a sweetie.
And B, there's the meme of Mipha introducing Link, hi, this is my boyfriend. And then this is my boyfriend's girlfriend.
Yup.
And it's
I love those memes.
No, Mipha, why are you doing this to yourself?
I love those memes. Well, those memes didn't stop. They just transformed all the characters. Because with the new game, it's now Sidon and Yona. Instead of Mipha and Zelda. They just moved the characters around. Those memes didn't end. Side note, I think Yona's really cute, by the way.
Fair.
She's adorable.
I love Cass's little boy. He's so
cute. Tulin's so cute.
Okay, so was that one you said was the hardest for you, right?
Yeah.
So what was the easiest one for you to achieve then?
Probably Daruk's. Because that one functions the same as the Dodongo in Ocarina of Time. When it does the animation, you throw a bomb at it.
Fair enough. Makes sense.
Yeah. It's not hard, it's just meticulous. Not even that word. You just have to know what you're looking for.
Tedious?
Not tedious, you just have to know what you're looking for, because the animation, it's really obvious, but, you don't register that, I should throw the bomb at him that I have, because I have access to infinite bombs. Let me throw that at him.
Gotcha.
It doesn't occur to you immediately, because you hadn't done that until that point. There's no other spot, at least in my playthrough, that I had seen, throw bomb at that guy, he will suck it up. I think the closest you could probably get are there's a bunch of Octoroks in that area, that if you throw a weapon at them, they'll clean your weapon for you. And, restore it, which is nice. But
interesting.
It doesn't occur to me to throw a bomb at those guys, because I just run past them. I don't use them.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so outside of those, what was, the most and least fun for you to collect or accomplish in some way?
Oh god, I don't remember the name of the shrine, but there's a shrine where you have to play golf. I hate that shrine.
Oh, I know this one.
That shrine. Because the gyroscope in the Switch is actually, it's a decent gyroscope. It's actually not that bad. But unfortunately, the ball and the gyroscope don't agree with each other. Because a lot of the puzzles that you're supposed to manipulate using the Switch, spoiler alert, if you undock the controller and turn the controller upside down, it makes the puzzle a hell of a lot easier. Because suddenly there's a flat surface to work with.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
There's literally a puzzle that most people, if you watch them playing it on the internet, it's a maze. And you're supposed to, like, push the ball through the maze, like, by rotating it. Really fun. I did it that way. Alternatively, you can just flip the entire puzzle upside down and kind of, like, backflip the ball where it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
But you can't do that when you're playing mini golf. You have to hit the ball.
Oh, no.
And there was another one where, same concept, you're playing mini golf, but instead of the gyroscope, you are now working with stasis and launching the ball. So,
Okay.
I definitely saved right next to that ball and just repeatedly broke the same weapon, like 10 or 11 times, trying to get the ball into the hole. Because you can't hit it too far, or it falls in the water. And you can't hit it not enough, or it falls in the water. You have to get right in the little golf hole. So,
Oh, no.
yeah, it's...
Wait, what happens if you break all of your weapons, though, and you're still stuck in the shrine?
Oh, you can leave the shrine. You can just teleport out of the shrine. You're shit out of luck at that point.
And again, that's where the weapon degradation system just really bothers me, because, like, at that point, I understand it for combat, I understand it for creating, like, new situations and forcing you out of your comfort zone, but there are points where it just gets annoying. Like, I almost wish there was an invincible, even just utility item that doesn't do damage to an enemy that you could use it for puzzles like this without needing to run out of the shrine to get new weapons.
Yeah, I ran into very few of those issues. There is a rubber hammer in Breath of the Wild. I'm not entirely sure what its durability is, but it does jack squat to enemies. It just launches them. Which is hilarious, because it looks like, you know those, like, rubber squeaky hammers?
Yeah.
It looks like that. But
God.
it's a pain in the ass to get. Because you have to buy it.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't cost a lot.
This just sounds like the foam finger from Dead Space.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. It is called... You have to find the shop guy called Kilton. He's the weird, like, demon dude. So you have to go through, like,
isn't he the guy that gives you the medals?
Yeah. He's the guy that gives you the medals. I'm trying to find his shop menu to give you the name of the hammer.
Breath.
Monster extract, yada 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 yada. Yeah, spring-loaded hammer. Yeah, so, like, once you find Kilton, his shop actually, like, the requirements to, like, unlock things in his shop, to get the spring-loaded hammer to appear, you need to defeat one divine beast. Which, like, great, but the spring-loaded hammer is basically just, like, a squeaky toy. It's a gimmick. You can just, like, launch people around. So, I mean, I guess if you went through all of the rigmarole to find Kilton, to unlock his shop, to have already gotten one divine beast, which, honestly, by the time you find Kilton, you probably do. You could use the rubber squeaky hammer on the annoying shrines, potentially. I never did that. I don't know what would happen.
Fair.
But yeah, I just saved outside the shrine and repeatedly went back in, back out, back in, and back out with the save menu.
Makes sense.
Which honestly fixes a lot of issues with the utility of things. Like, if you really care about a particular weapon and you're in an area where, like, you're breaking crap all the time, then you can just save before going and doing that thing. But most of the time, though, if you have to use a weapon inside of a shrine, there's at least one or two enemies that have a weapon that you can steal and use it. So a lot of the time, you're gonna find, like, the little miniature guardians. Oh gosh, what they're... We're dragging back up memories. I probably should have looked up what all their names are. But I don't...
No, it's fine.
I don't remember all the names of every single enemies.
And I don't expect you to.
To be fair, in my defense, they're called Guardian Scouts. So, Guardian Scout. Anyway, a lot of those guys, if they actually required you to have a weapon, there'll be one or two of those guys kicking around, and you can just steal their and run off with it. Or kill them. But it's actually surprisingly easy to steal weapons from people. Not the Guardian Scouts. You usually have to kill those guys, but if there's anything else in there, you can usually just, like, steal a weapon from someone. Like, if it's a regular overworld enemy, if you stun them, most of them drop their weapons, you can just steal it and run away. You don't even have to kill them. Oh, even, like, Hinoxes? If they're still asleep, you can steal all their and run away. You just have to be real stealthy, And the higher the level of the Hynax, the more likely they are to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
But you get better stuff. But if you don't care about that and you're
Okay.
going to run away anyway, you can steal their stuff and run away. Doesn't really matter.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so that was the least fun for you. What was the most fun?
Oh. I don't know, there's so many shrines, I don't remember them.
And why was it the Korok seeds?
It was not the Korok seeds, I'll have you know that. Probably the shrines that are around the Great Deku Tree. So in the Lost Woods, there's a set of 3 shrines. They're not like remarkable shrines by any means, but they're cute. They're in a little area. You get to see the Lost Woods again. You get to interact with the Koroks. You get to talk to a lot of them. And the 3 shrines that are there aren't hard by any means. They're actually quite easy. But you have to deal with the fog that's in the Lost Woods, and that's kind of fun to deal with. But also at the end of it, you get the Master Sword, which is fun.
Fair.
Or at least the Master Sword is next to those 3. Generally, by the time you get to the Master Sword, either you already have the hearts, or you get those 3 shrines and then you have the hearts. It's great.
Okay.
But there's
Okay.
there's another one that's on top of the Great Deku Tree, and it's a random little dude, and he's just up there tucked away. He's got his own little like setup up there, and he's really fun to talk with. Couldn't for the life of you remember what the quest is about. I think you have to go take pictures of things for him. But I just like his setup that's up there. It's very chill, and you have no idea how he got up there. They carried this over in Tears of the Kingdom. It's not the same guy on top of the Great Deku Tree. It's a different guy. But if you decide to cheat it, you don't want to climb up the entire Great Deku Tree. You decide, I'm just going to use Ascension and like worm your way up through the fabric of space and time up the Great Deku Tree.
Okay.
Inside of him, there is a single room with no entrances. Not a goddamn clue how that guy got in there. There's a single Deku guy in a room inside the Great Deku Tree. He's obviously not there in Breath of the Wild, but when I did that to go check up on the guy that was on the roof because he was cute, I found the room and I was like, what the hell? What is this?
Huh.
Yeah, and he's got like a bed in there, and he asks you to collect him flowers. But that's Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay. Alright, here we go. So, as you know, I've had to change a lot, as people listening know, I've had to change a lot of the criteria for what constitute an achievement or accomplishment to kind of accommodate Nintendo's infuriating lack and unwillingness to just put in achievements already. But I'm going to list off what I found on Reddit as a list of completion criteria, and I want to know, in your opinion, what you feel would be the hardest, like what people would get the least of. So the main line says, complete all divine beasts, complete all shrines, find all 183 locations, and find all 900 Korok seeds. Now, the unofficial that this person has said to them is the true 100%, is complete all main quests, shrine quests, side quests, find all hidden memories, discover all 675 locations, complete the Hyrule Compendium, complete all Medals of Honor, collect all armors, and subsequently upgrade all armors. So what do you think, in your vast experience, would be the hardest for people to accomplish?
The Korok seeds.
Really?
Not because it's hard to do, but because it's annoying. Because the medals are easy to do.
Okay.
First off, once you have killed Ganon, it will tell you if you've already killed that metal creature or not. There's only 3 kinds in this game. So it's either the Talus, which are the big stone guys, the Hynoxes, which are basically Cyclops, and then the Molduga, which are, first off, those are my favorite. They're fun. But there's only 3 of them.
Okay.
There's only 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So once you've killed it, it tells you that you've killed it. So if you walk up to it, you see a star, you can run away. They're not that hard. The Divine Beasts you're going to do anyway. The armor, you're likely to do a lot of it even before beating Ganon, just because you get your ass kicked a lot. And the higher level the armor, the more defense it gives you.
Makes sense.
And it doesn't cost money in Breath of the Wild. So it's really just go find the creature that drops the thing that you need. And as long as you're not doing, like, any of the amiibo armor, you're probably fine.
So it's just Monster Hunter.
Yeah, Monster Hunter, yeah.
Okay.
If you decide you're going to then borrow someone's amiibos, because unless you're my cousin, you probably don't have every single one of them. For some ungodly reason, my cousin has every amiibo.
This is just you putting your entire family on blast.
I'll put them on blast. My cousin has every amiibo. I borrowed his amiibos to get these armors. I got all the armor.
Okay.
Eventually I might get Zelda amiibos, but I'm not dedicated enough for that.
Mm-hmm.
They only do one thing. They only do one thing. And in Tears of the Kingdom, they do that one thing even less.
Oof.
Roasted. But yeah, so if you're not bothering to find all 3 pieces of armor from each, we'll say type of amiibo for Zelda, because a couple of them give the same thing.
Yeah.
Then the armor isn't that bad, because you don't need that many star fragments. That's the only hard thing, truly, is getting star fragments, because it's... As I called myself out earlier, my character is standing where I used to farm star fragments. It's not that hard to do. It's just annoying.
Fair.
And again, by the time you decide that you are going to level up all of your armor, Lynels are not that hard.
Mm-hmm.
They just take a while.
Okay.
So the only 2 things that are really difficult to acquire when it comes to like monster parts are organs from the Lynels and star fragments. The rest of it you can do.
Huh. Interesting.
So that takes out all the monster things. The map you're probably going to do anyway. The only annoying thing is when you're down to like 4 or 5% left of the map and you have no clue where you're supposed to go to get the thing. But at that point, you zoom the map in as far as you can if you're not going to use a walkthrough online. You zoom the map in as far as you can, and anything that looks interesting, you walk over to.
Yeah.
If it looks like a ruin, walk over to it. If it looks like an empty spot, walk over to it. If it looks like it could be something interesting, or if it's shaped weird, walk over to it.
Okay.
I did not do that. I used a map online, and I compared the map online to my map, and my tiny 2% that was left was a random-ass abandoned village.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I could tell you exactly what it was. Hold up, I remember the name of it. Let me find it real quick.
I remember...
It's called Raru Hillside. That was my last little bit of the map that I had to fill in. Because I was pissed.
Well,
I was mad.
Goddamn you, Raru.
Raru. Before Raru got named after the giant fox creature.
Yeah. Oh. I remember when I was watching, again, Quinn, because all my Zelda content was him. He did a 5-part mini-series trying to figure out what, 1.3% of the map he was missing. It was like a stable or something. He was so mad.
Oh yeah, you get real pissed. Because I did the same thing when it came to Korok seeds. And I had 3 left. I knew where one of them was, because I purposely saved it. I knew exactly where the last one was. It was 2 of them that I was looking for, and they were in the exact same spot, too.
Oh. So,
I was mad.
Interesting question. What was your favorite Korok, leaf shape in this game?
Oh, leaf shape. Oh, God. Hold up. Let me look them up. Because none of them look like Makar. And if any of them looked like Makar, I'd be like, that boy. My child.
Because Quinn, again, he named them based on leaf shapes, so, his favorite, and by extension my favorite, was the one that was just a circle, because he called him Squimblow, because he was the most friend-shaped. I think it was the, more traditional, kind of spade leaf-shaped he called Forklift. The one with, the really long rectangular one, I don't remember what he nicknamed that one, but, that was, the evil, that was, the ones he was just these guys are evil, these guys suck. It was just really funny, the little story he created for them.
Yeah, if I had to pick up my favorite one, that's probably the star-shaped one that looks a bit like a Momiji leaf.
Okay.
A little bit. Now that I'm looking at them, they're definitely based off, real-ass plants.
Oh.
One of them is definitely shaped like a houseplant.
And Squimblow would just be a lily pad, most likely, just of how circular it is.
Yeah, he's a lily pad. I'm not sure what a butterfly-shaped leaf one is, but I'm not gonna lie, when I was hiking around a couple weeks ago, there was definitely a plant that looked like it had butterfly-shaped leaves.
Huh.
So that doesn't surprise me. I did get someone on Etsy to make my brother a custom Korok for Christmas a couple years back.
Wait, a Korok or a Korok seed?
No, the character.
Okay.
No, the character. Yeah, you could pick like the body color and then the leaf shape.
Oh, that's so
You can make
cute.
your own. He likes it. It's only about 8 inches tall. He still has it.
Nice.
All these years later. Although that child doesn't usually throw out stuffed animals. He's only like 12.
Fair.
So. But yeah, no, I like the star-shaped one.
Okay.
Although I do take vindictive pleasure in dropping rocks on their heads.
Oh, so did he.
Yeah. Now, okay, I will say the greatest thing that happened in Tears of the Kingdom is all of the Korok torture memes.
No.
Those are just so good. Those are so good.
No. Those poor
And
Koroks.
I have done several of them before I saw the meme.
Nice.
Because I was done. Well, because there's one type of Korok thing that you have to do in Tears of the Kingdom where you have to take... It's basically a really escort quest. But the problem is you can't just pick them up. You have to use the abilities in that game to move them around. And that's what makes it annoying. You can't just, like, pick it up and walk with them. You have to carry them. And then Link walks slower, which is really annoying.
Gotcha.
So I may or may not have attached them to my horse pulling. I may or may not have attached them to rockets, to the back of my sledges. But usually they just ended up as, like, the really, like, oh gosh, what are they called on cars? The little vanity things on the front of cars?
Oh god. Hood ornaments?
Hood ornament? Yeah, they became a hood ornament on many of my, car creations.
Nice.
Yeah, I wasn't that mean, but I've seen some pretty good ones.
Yeah, I know Quinn would just, in Breath of the Wild, he would just take the rock and then he would just always, like, crush. But
Yep.
Quinn also had this thing where whenever he saw one, he would just be like, him. Like, that's all he would say is him, but it's just, he sounded so excited. It was just the dumbest thing. He's like, him.
Him. Honestly. Yeah, it's not hard, it's annoying.
Fair.
Which is why most people don't like doing it. Now, there's a logical reason why there are so many damn Koroks everywhere. It's not because they wanted to put 900 goddamn Korok seeds in the game. It's because they're using the Korok seeds to make their inventory system. And they want to give you a fair chance at actually getting a full inventory. You only need, like, maybe a third of the Koroks to get a full inventory.
And they just also wanted to put in 900 Koroks to screw with you because it's funny.
Apparently. Yeah, let me look at my current... Yeah, so if you get all of the Korok seeds, you are left with 459 of them.
Oh my god.
So I guess technically half of them. Whatever.
So yeah, they really did just put it in there to screw with you.
Pretty much. I mean, the reward at the end of it is a giant poo.
Yeah.
So, like, you get nothing out of it.
To be fair, every single Korok seed is shaped like a literal piece of like, and like the
but it's shiny.
Well, yeah, the one at the end is just golden.
Oh no, they're all shiny. They're all golden.
Oh.
They're all like that. They're just little, and this one's big.
Okay then.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. I'm looking at them right now. Everyone thinks they're seed shaped. Just like take off the top of the poop emoji and turn it gold. That's exactly what it is.
Fair.
So.
I knew they weren't seed shaped, but yeah, like oof.
Yep. Yeah, no poops. Because
okay.
I read somewhere once it's because you scared the out of them when you find them.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then they're like, wait, I have to give you something. Here you go, hero. You can have that piece of poo.
Oh, I love it and hate it at the same time.
Yep.
So
I think the reason...
Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, they're called Korok seeds.
Yeah.
But, like, when they originally were that shape in Wind Waker, their mission in that game was to actually, like, legitimately spread seeds around the world to grow trees. So I get why they're called seeds.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what they look like.
No. No, they don't.
No.
So, okay, what was the most, like, memorable of these accomplishments for you? What one really left that lasting impression, and then why?
I mean... I think the best one is probably getting all of the memories.
Okay.
Because that's how you get the story. That is the story, is getting these memories. You have the, like, if you don't get the memories, you have the story of Link not having many memories, he's gonna go save Zelda, yada yada yada. It is a decent story. You don't know why. You don't know the backstory, you don't know why, you don't know what's going on. And then there's this, like, really tragic story in the background of what happened 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting take on Link and Zelda because of everyone thinking about like the overarching timeline of Legend of Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
The only other time we have seen something similar was back with Ocarina of Time when like the quote original split in the timeline happened. And now that they're kind of playing fast and loose with the timeline now. I never really particularly was like, oh, it has to be before this, it has to be after this.
Yeah.
I mostly just like reading theories, but this Breath of the Wild in particular is very like, we don't care which timeline, it's just after.
Oh, yikes.
It's after all of them. Don't worry about it. It's after all of them.
Yeah.
But because you can't fix what happened in the past. You just have to keep living with your choices. It's a very interesting story.
Okay, interesting.
And then you are rewarded with more of that story. So you get all of the memories. You get an additional memory by going and doing something really cool. Basically what you have to do is when you get all the memories, they tell you to go take this picture. And you have to line up where that picture takes place and you get the last memory. Which if you are not prepared for it... is very emotional.
Oh no.
It's very emotional. Yeah, it's very emotional. So you get rewarded for actually going and seeking them out. You get more story. You get to understand what's happening. And then they build on that. They build on that with the DLC. So they're under the assumption that, you have to do this. It's not the assumption. You have to go do this. You have to get all the Divine Beasts. You have to get the memories in order to get the next part that's in the DLC. You learn more about the characters. You learn more about Link. And then, this is such a stupid thing, but you get to add something to Link's house if you decide to do the house quest.
Oh.
And Cass is the one that gives it to you, our beautiful big bird.
Aww.
With the accordion. He gives it to you, and you get to add it to your house. And that photo is still in Tears of the Kingdom. Oh. You can go find it in Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, my heart is
so
warm. Cute.
Oh, gosh. So if you start by playing Tears of the Kingdom, you're not going to understand where that photo comes from.
Yeah.
But I one of the first couple of things I did was go back to Link's house. It's not his house anymore. It's now Zelda's house. Because Link buys a whole new property. For some ungodly reason, he's got 2 properties now. Who cares? But yeah, the photo that he found with Cass is actually still in the house.
Oh, that's so cute.
Which is really cute. But yeah, I think the memories is probably the most rewarding part of that.
Okay. So,
although it is difficult to get them in order. So once you get all of them in order, if you haven't watched them in order, you should watch them in order.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think there was like a thing to collect or a thing to do that didn't have like an official reward behind it that maybe should have? Because like normally this question is like, was there an achievement or way of playing that should have an was there a way of playing that should have an official achievement for it? But obviously this game doesn't have achievements. But it sounds like it still rewards you in some way, shape, or form for doing these, let's call them pseudo achievements. So I was just wondering if there's something similar here.
I don't know if you could attach an achievement to them, but if you know about certain things from other Zelda games, like the best one I can think of is an Ocarina of Time. In Breath of the Wild, the same horse ranch that was in Ocarina of Time appears in Breath of the Wild. Same setup, same format. If you go to one of the buildings, there's usually a reward in the same location that there was a reward in Ocarina of Time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if there's necessarily like an achievement for that kind of stuff. I don't know if it would necessarily need one, but you know, if it had the traditional like Steam ha moment, look what you just did. You would definitely get a lot of those like secret, like the secret, you get to go do it now.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's a couple others I'm trying to remember off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's at least 1 or 2 more that are like that, where if you know what that thing is based off of, what that map point is based off of, and you do something, you get rewarded for it.
Okay.
But I can't remember off the top of my head. The big one is the Ocarina of Time reference.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Fair. Okay.
Although if you're not careful, in Breath of the Wild, you do get attacked by a guardian while doing that.
Oh.
Because there's one that's not that far away from it.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's a nerve-wracking experience, but yeah. Yeah, I can't really think of anything that you do. I will say that people do, and it's a legal part of the game. The devs 100% intended for you to do that, because there are lots of things that people do that nobody intended.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody intended for you to do that. Like the Great Flying Machine. That's my favorite. It's where you take a minecart and you stick another minecart on top of it and you try and levitate. I have tried this for hours.
This. Yes.
I suck at it. I can't get it to work. But I wanted it to work purely because I wanted to test if Link's terminal velocity would outspeed the smoke in the Lost Woods.
Oh, yeah.
I never could figure that out because I couldn't get the machine to work.
Oh. That's too bad.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I could probably do it in Tears of the Kingdom, but the fog works differently.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not gonna work.
Fair enough. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond, thank you so much for watching and or listening up to this point. We have reached the halfway point of the episode, which is actually a lot longer than I thought it'd be. I think that's great. So if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget we are on every major podcast platform. You can find the links for that in the description down below. And vice versa. If you want, if you're listening to the podcast, if you want to see gameplay footage of the games we talk about, that will be on the Tease Table YouTube channel. Link for that in the description down below. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, the usual stuff. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, the YouTube stuff. So, with all that being said, let's get into the last half of this episode. Are you able to soft lock yourself out of this game or out of like a particular accomplishment?
Not really.
Okay.
The closest you can get to like anything where you get stuck is maybe you get your horse stuck somewhere janky ass, because Breath of the Wild is only second to Bethesda in weird horses.
Oh.
I've gotten my horse in some pretty interesting spots. But I can't think of anything that you could possibly soft lock yourself out of. Other than maybe if you get... See, Nintendo's really good about resetting shrines. If you leave them, it resets everything. But you can, like, screw up a shrine while you're in it. But you just leave and come back.
Okay.
If you actually screw it up that bad.
Yeah.
In older games, if you somehow, like... You could, like, accidentally lose, like, door keys and things in older games.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to, like, actually break the game for that to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I not in Breath of the Wild. I'm thinking of older games at this point.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Okay.
But maybe I'm not skilled enough to break the game that badly.
So there's something I want to point out that, you know, between Bethesda games and this, those are two of the only games with horse armor. So I'm seeing a trend.
Yeah, the horses are great. They're beautiful. They walk just fine. It's the second you try to get a horse to do anything that a horse is not supposed to do, like climb a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a button you can hold to, like, essentially get the horse to move in any direction.
Okay.
It's so that in case they, like, get stuck on a fence, you don't have to, like, get off, call the horse, get back on the horse. You can just, like, shuffle the horse around. You can use that button to, like, climb a rock with the horse, as long as it's at the right angle.
Okay.
There's a particular threshold of incline on a mountain that a horse will not climb. But if you turn the horse sideways, and the incline is now at your lateral side, you can then climb up the incline with the horse. I may or may not have done that. And then I have a video on my Switch of when my horse absolutely just checked out. And it got clipped into the side of the mountain. And then because it was on an incline, it now treated the horse as an object, and the object was now going down the mountain. But horses don't roll. All right?
Oh.
So now imagine you have a horse butt inside the mountain. It is now being treated like a moving object. What do you think it did?
Well, wouldn't it freak out because of the physics and then send the horse flying into the air?
No, it acted like an elevator.
What? Huh.
And it slowly started to go down the mountain because, again, it's being treated like an object. It's now going down the incline, but it doesn't roll. And Link is still on the horse at this point, so now I have a horse elevator. This is not what I wanted to happen, but it was interesting.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Nice.
I will say, I have not killed a horse with any of my maneuvers with these things.
Yet.
All of my horses have survived. I have not incurred the wrath of the horse god. We're good.
Okay, well that's good.
Everything's fine.
That's good. So, this
Yes.
is probably a pretty redundant question. How many times do you need to play the game to get 100%?
If we don't care about Master Mode once,
Mm-hmm.
one really, really, really long playthrough. If you care about Master Mode, then 2 times.
Okay.
It's just because there's a lot of repeating
Yeah.
again and again and again and again and again to get things, or
Mhm.
walking around in circles. So if you think about how many times you repeat a section of a game to get an achievement in another game, it's just going to take you 190 hours.
Twice. Especially if you were to do everything the second time.
Yeah.
Okay, so does the game feel rewarding for like doing all of these things? Or
Now,
sorry,
see
no.
here, this is the
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
See, the thing is I don't mind walking around, just kind of enjoying the game, finding little things. I don't do it quietly. I listen to other things. I watch the show, listen to podcasts. So if you were just wandering around and being like, ugh, there's nothing going on, you're probably not going to enjoy it. But it's the act of like filling it in and seeing I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. The dopamine chase
Yeah.
for me is really rewarding, but I fully understand why people find that extremely boring. Like the grind in video games. Think of like I'm leveling up in Pokemon, or I'm gonna call out Bravely Default. There are sections in the game Bravely Default that are just way too grind heavy. I'm never annoyed by those kinds of things.
Okay.
But I get why other people are.
Okay. So does the game, like, what kind of in-game rewards do you get for accomplishing these feats, for doing these tasks?
And this is where I think why people don't like doing them. You don't actually get like this amazing piece of armor or anything. Really, the only time you get something like that is when you do all of the shrines.
Okay.
You get like the final piece of armor. You get Link's green uniform for this game, because he's not wearing green in this game. But if you get all the shrines, you get his green uniform. Which for some reason they put him in shorts again. I don't know why.
They
Don't
want
put him
them.
in
They want
shorts.
them legs.
That's not even the good booty shorts in the game. There are other booty shorts that look way better. I'm gonna call them out on this one. There's a better set of armor for them butt shorts if you want them. Just saying. But for most of the rewards, like the monsters, you just get a medal. You did it.
Okay.
I mean, the Korok seeds are infamous for giving you the giant pile of crap at the end. But that's... I mean, filling in the map, you don't really get anything. I will say that Tears of the Kingdom did better. But again, even in that game, it's just like, you did it. Here is your in-game sticker for it, essentially.
Okay.
You don't really get anything for it.
Yeah.
Which... Again, I'm chill. This doesn't bother me. I like being acknowledged for my efforts, even if it is a piece of poop. But it's more of a, I did it for my own satisfaction, that I saw everything possible in the game.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember when I first logged in to Tears of the Kingdom, I went back and I found on the map a spot that I had stood in Breath of the Wild, and I took the same angle of photograph.
Oh my.
And I thought it was really cool to look at the photos side by side. Which was really fun to do, and you could see the difference in just the quality of the game, which was really fun. So I like my stickers. I'm easy to please. I'm the most enjoyable customer to possibly have. I make my own rewards.
Yeah.
But I think for most people, they would want something a little more tangible as a reward.
That makes sense.
With a lot of the Guardians, or not the Guardians, the Divine Beasts, after you beat them, there's usually a quest that unlocks to get the weapon, or a replica of the weapon that the champion used.
Okay.
Now, I have met no one that actually uses that weapon. Most people I have met stick it inside of Link's house as a trophy. Nobody uses it.
What do you have to do to get Tinkle's armor? Because that is, in my opinion, the best and worst armor in the game simultaneously.
It's horrific. Oh god. I'm trying to remember. Hold on.
Oh, sorry, Tinkle. I called him Tinkle.
No, Tinkle's fine. You can call him that. I hate the armor. I disliked him when he appeared in Wind Waker. Apparently he's from an even earlier game. And apparently he's super popular in Japan. He's got his own damn side game. I've never played that, and I never will. Not happening. I don't like Tinkle.
Oh, I love it and hate it at the same time.
I hate him. Dislike. Not a fan. I'm pretty sure he was DLC. Hold up. Because it is. It's DLC in Breath of the Wild. It was not in Tears of the Kingdom. Game. You could just find it. Oh god. In Breath of the Wild, when they released a whole bunch of armor, they picked. There's a guard outpost. I can't remember which one, but it's closer towards the Great Plateau. And in one of the buildings, they just dropped a book. They put a book on a desk inside the building, and the book is has a bunch of hints for where all the armor is. So one of them was the helmet for Midna from Twilight Princess. One of them was a mask to help you locate Koroks. I'm not gonna lie, I never used that mask. I'm sure it's helpful to other people. I didn't use it. Cute haircut though. There was the Phantom armor, which is from the DS games, so Phantom Hourglass, and more specifically, Spirit Tracks. In Spirit Tracks, it's more relevant because it's the armor that Zelda inhabits with her little ghost.
Okay.
But, it first appears in Phantom Hourglass as an enemy, a really annoying enemy too.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it is. Phantom Hourglass is fun. I don't care what anyone else thinks. I like that game. People on it because it's not great. It's not like great, but I like it. They got an interesting concept.
Yeah.
And then what else did they have? Tingle's goddamn armor. Oh, and then a random Nintendo Switch T-shirt, like a regular
I've seen
T-shirt.
this. Yeah.
It's just a T-shirt, but they put the treasure chest like right next to a Guardian. Which was rude. I think that was all the armor pieces from that treasure chest. Yeah, for one thing, you can't upgrade any of it.
Oh.
Yeah, none of the DLC armor you can upgrade.
Huh.
Yeah, so it's the Korok mask. Oh, and Majora's mask. That's the only one that's helpful. That one's great. Majora's mask does the same thing for a normal enemy that any of Kilton's masks do.
Okay.
So if it is it doesn't really work on Lionel's, and none of the mini bosses. But basically any regular enemy, if you're wearing Majora's mask, they don't attack you.
Yeah, okay.
That was the best one in the whole game, and they stuck it in a Coliseum in Tears of the Kingdom, so it's brutal to get.
Oof.
Totally worth it, though. Totally worth it. If you're down in the depths, that's the first thing you should go find.
Okay.
But I think you have to kill, like, a bunch of Lionels to get it. I can't remember. I just remember it was brutal. But it's so worth it. That's the only good one. The rest of them you can't upgrade, and I haven't figured out why. I really don't know why.
Weird.
Yeah, not a clue why. There's a couple of pieces of armor in general that you can't upgrade, even in the main game for Breath of the Wild. Like, there's a Royal Guard outfit. You can't upgrade that. There's an outfit that makes you look like Ganondorf. Can't upgrade that.
Oh.
And I don't know why. I don't remember the logic behind it.
Huh.
Because they're pretty pieces. You just don't wear them because you're going to get your butt kicked if you do. So, most people end up wearing like a hodgepodge outfit of their favorite things. And then when they need something specific, they'll put on the full armor for something. Like if you need to be fireproof, you're going to put the full armor on.
Yeah.
Just for that one battle, and then you'll switch back out.
That makes sense.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, does it feel like the devs cared about like the things they were asking you to do when they were making the game?
For the most part, yes. And I did read something once that when they were developing it, they basically opened it up to the entire staff that was working on it. And they could put signs in places for, like, suggestions.
Oh,
so
wow,
that even, like, Yeah, so that like even lower level employees, their opinions could be heard. Or like this isn't working the way you want it to, or this doesn't feel fun, or this part is boring, things like that. So I think because there are so many little details that it really does feel like they put a lot of effort into it, and especially with Tears of the Kingdom, they took so much longer to work on it that it does show. But there are still things that, like, I wish they had done more. There's, like, so much extra space everywhere that they could have done a little bit more, and they did. I keep giving this to Breath of the Wild and to any game that's like it. It's an experiment.
Yeah.
So they experimented with it. The very next game is better. So with, I guess the best example of this is, like, Pokemon. The experiment was Sword and Shield. And then they tried to do better.
Yeah.
And some things are better in Scarlet and Violet. I'll give them that. Some things are better. But you need to have time to make them better. So, and I think the results of that shows between Pokemon and Zelda, that if you take your time, it does work out. And people are willing to wait. As long as you tell them. I will say, every single E3, every single video game announcement, I was there waiting for my little update. Was there any update on Tears of the Kingdom? Nope. Okay, I guess we're waiting another 6 months. That's fine by me. As long as they don't cancel it. So, but yeah. I think the only thing they probably should have done was to make it a little bit more accessible at the beginning for people.
Okay.
Because it wasn't aimed at, like, a brand new audience. It wasn't. It was aimed at people who have played Zelda before, who know the basic mechanics of the game.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you jump into the game, if you've played a single Zelda game before this, the general mechanics are all there, as long as you remember the buttons. But for a majority of video game players, especially that age group that Nintendo usually aims at, most of them need a little bit of help, or want a little bit of help, I should say. Whereas I'm perfectly happy if you drop me in a game and tell me go. I'm going to experiment with all the buttons first to know what everything does. Because I switch between video games all the time. I spend the first 5 minutes returning to a video game doing that anyway.
Okay.
Like, if I pick up Astral Chain right now, I'm going to spend 5 minutes trying to remember how all the buttons work because that game is so complicated.
Fair.
But I'm still going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But most people want a little bit of hand-holding. And there are notorious posts for both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom of people never finding one of the tutorials. Like, I spent at least 100 hours in Tears of the Kingdom, and I didn't find the jump attack tutorial until 100 hours in. I didn't know where it was. I didn't even know there was a jump attack tutorial. And all of a sudden I talked to a random NPC, and they're like, yes, did you know? It's like, huh? What?
Yeah, that's good game design right there.
But again, I'm not the typical player. I don't listen to directions when they tell me to go somewhere.
Fair.
So if you let the game hold your hand, there's more tutorial vibes. And they keep you trapped on the Great Plateau, so nothing's too terrible up there until you have, like, a general understanding of the game.
Yeah.
But if you don't let the game hold your hand for the first, I'd say, hour, then you're gonna struggle a little bit. Because the idea is you get out of the cave, or you're in the cave, the first thing the game teaches you how to do is how to open doors, how to open treasure chests, how to climb up a wall.
Okay.
Alright, second thing it teaches you how to do is how to pick up a stick, how to open your menu. If you kind of ignore the game and you do your own thing, you might fall off a cliff, and then you're going to be really SOL. But
yeah.
There are some things like, okay, how to cook food, how to do this, how to do this. But if you end up talking to everybody in the game, like, if I'm playing Pokemon, I'm talking to every single NPC. Because they give you free
Yeah.
If I've learned anything from the DS Pokemon games, if you just talk to people, you never have to buy a single thing. You just talk to people. Unfortunately, Scarlet and Violet did not do that. If you talk to people in Scarlet and Violet, only very few of them give you free stuff. It's
yeah, most of them are like, did you know this bit of lore that you already knew?
Yeah. But yeah, no, so like in Diamond and Pearl, if you just go into every building and talk to people, they'll give you free. It's great.
Yeah, like,
oh, you're a child? You're a small child on an adventure? Here's a potion. Here's a great ball.
I'm going to reward you
have the
for
ability
just entering my home without my permission.
Yeah. But if you do that in Zelda, you'll learn things like recipes, you'll learn how to do certain things. If you go into any one of the stables, there's a recipe on the wall. A lot of buildings have recipes on walls. People will tell you about things. They'll give you hints about interesting places to go to. It might not give you anything, but it'll be an interesting place to go, and you might find something cool. Or if you just watch people interact with the world, you can learn things. You can actually learn things by watching the enemies sometimes. If you watch them in Breath of the Wild, they teach you that if you drop meat on fire, it burns, and then you can cook it instead of just using a pot. But you kind of have to slow down and, like, pretend the world is real.
Yeah.
How are you going to actually learn how to do it? And most people don't want that from a video game. And that's
Fair.
okay.
Yeah. That's fair.
So.
Okay, so do the things that the game is asking you to do they feel unique within the genre per se? So, like, I guess open world kind of hack and slash games, or even open world Nintendo games?
Not really.
Okay.
But that's not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the basic idea of an open world where you go and attack things and you do a bunch of missions is not a new concept. It's not even a new concept for Zelda. It's not even a new concept for Nintendo.
Yeah.
Because my brain immediately went to the difference between Zelda and Xenoblade.
Fair.
Both of them are giant open world games. Xenoblade is not non-linear. It's very straightforward. Follow what they tell you to do and you will get to the end result, but it doesn't expect you to do it immediately. Zelda traditionally is very, very, very linear. Especially Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
Oh my lord, that game is linear. I love it, but that game is linear. But because even from the very beginning, I mean, the first Legend of Zelda game was a non-linear open world game. That's the very first the Legend of Zelda game. So it's new for people who are playing Legend of Zelda now. It's not really for the game itself.
Fair.
But what makes it its own thing is because the world has there are things in a Zelda game that you expect to see, and that's what makes the world unique.
Okay.
So certain enemies, certain things that you're supposed to do, like finding the Master Sword and saving Zelda and doing dungeons. You expect to do that. But every Zelda game tries to bring something that's new, something that's interesting.
Yeah.
And so this one's new thing is we're returning to non-linear. Oh, hey, also, our story is really unique. And I think that's what makes it kind of special.
Okay. Fair enough.
I think now that we have the sequel to it, I think it's a little bit more interesting, because now it's a gargantuan story for this one iteration of Link doing not one, not two, but technically 3 adventures. Almost. That's the memories from Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think you don't play as Zelda. She doesn't do a whole lot, but she has more character. And they've been making her more of her own unique character for a while. So Twilight Princess, she was really, really interesting. She was like this mysterious background character, kind of edgy. If you imagine a princess as an edgelord, that was Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Skyward Sword, she's your best friend. And now in Breath of the Wild, she's like her own autonomous character. She makes decisions. You follow her story. It's interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I do miss like her transitions into Sheik, or like her more active roles, even if they were in the background and like they weren't necessarily playable by you.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna. I love Wind Waker, but I liked Zelda more when she was Tetra than when she becomes the princess, because it's the second she turns into Zelda, she's a completely different character, and it's annoying. Oh yeah, no. She goes through a whole personality change, and I'm like, what is happening? Because when she returns to dressing like Tetra at the end of the game, her personality is back to what it used to be. It's very confusing.
Yeah, it's like, why? Like, we all knew Tetra was Zelda. Like, we all figured it out. You did not have to change your personality for, like, a quarter of the game.
Yeah. But that's okay. It's fine. It's over 10 years ago now. It's fine. Actually, I think it's over 15 years ago now.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that.
I'm gonna look up when Wind Waker came out.
No.
I think it was 2001.
That would make it 21.
No! It was December 13th, 2002.
The game can almost legally vote in almost every country in the world.
No, you want to know what's really sad? The HD version of Wind Waker was 2013. That son of a gun is 10 plus years old. I'm old as
I'm older than you. Shut up.
I know, and we're not even that old.
No, we're not. But by YouTube standards, I'm ancient.
Yeah.
Thank God I don't upload on TikTok.
That's fair.
So,
when I got Wind Waker, there came an extra little thing on my copy. No, it was on my copy of Ocarina of Time. It was a cool copy. It had Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask on it, and there was a demo for Wind Waker on that disc. That's how old I am. You got to play the first dungeon. It was so cool. It dropped you on the island. Whatever. It's fine.
Oh, man.
It's fine. God.
Anyway, did you use any guides for the game? I know you mentioned using them, and would you recommend other people use guides? And if so, which guides? Because I will make sure to link them in the description down below.
See, I use guides when I get stuck.
Mm-hmm.
The only game that I have used a walkthrough for specifically is the second Zelda game. Not the first one, the very second one. Link's Adventure. And I'll give you one reason why. When the game originally came out, it came out with a player's guide. It told you how to play the game because it's too hard.
Okay.
Alright? That game is way too hard. People think Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is hard. Nah. Nah. They ain't got on that second game.
Yeah.
Because that second game, when you die, when you get a game over, it puts you back to the beginning of the game.
Oof.
You have to walk your happy ass back to where you were at. Yeah, nah. Okay, yeah, I use guides all the time, but only when I need them and when I get stuck.
Okay.
There were some times in Tears of the Kingdom that I probably shouldn't have done it, because I was impatient, because I would come across something in the game that was very clearly a side quest. I had not talked to the NPC that gave you the side quest.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. In Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, you don't have to talk to the guy that gives you the quest to do it. And quite honestly, most of the time, the guy who gives you the quest, or the chick that gives you the quest, is nowhere near the quest.
Oh.
So I would usually look up the location I was in, and be like, quest? Question mark? They'd be like, yeah, go talk to this random guy. I don't want to.
Nice.
I just want to do the quest. Tell me how to do the quest.
Oh, that just
Probably shouldn't have done it a couple of times.
This just reminds me of those little, like, comics where it's, like, the little green dude with a sword. He's just like, quest? And, like, that's all he says is quest? And then they're like, yeah, we can go on the quest. He's like, quest!
Quest! Yes. I remember that. Quest! But in Breath of the Wild specifically, yeah, there are a bunch of shrines that I, did not know how to solve. It was like, please help. Or I would look it up after the fact. Like, did I do that correctly? In air quotes, correctly in air quotes. Obviously, I solved it. You did it correctly.
Yeah.
But then I'll see, an easier way that I could have done it, and then I'm just kicking myself. But, for the Korok seeds, yeah, I used a map. I used several maps.
Okay.
There is an app. There is an app on my phone that I used.
Yeah.
That it's a map, and you can mark off when you find a Korok seed. And so I have one for Breath of the Wild, and I have one for Tears of the Kingdom, and I am using the Tears of the Kingdom one right now.
Okay.
But yeah, so especially when it comes down to a world that has so many little things to find, like the amount of shrines, Yeah, they give you a sensor for finding those things. Yes, they give you a hat to help you find the Korok seeds. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Fair.
That's really when you're getting into the 300, 400 hours of gameplay, okay? When you're walking around with a hat on, waiting for it to go... Oh my goodness, there's a Korok somewhere within 500 meters of me. Where is it? Nah, mate, I'm gonna use a map.
Fair. Yeah, that sounds like hell.
Yeah, anyway, the two apps that I use are called Breath Companion, it has a little map on it, and Tears Companion, it has a little map on it.
Fair. And these are just on your phone, or are these like on the PC?
These are on my phone, but you can find free versions. I paid for you can get the app for free, but I paid for the upgraded version, because why not? It was like $3.
Yeah.
But you can fully find 100% free, useful maps online. There's hundreds of them. Okay. I would do it, especially if you really want those Korok seeds, because you're going to come down to like the last 3 seeds, and you're going to be screaming in annoyance. Because the map is so huge.
Honestly, fair.
Yeah, just do it. There's no shame in it. No one cares.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, one of my friends back home is like, "You're doing this again?" Yeah, I'm getting Korok seeds again. I'm not doing it. So yeah, I do it in a lot of...
No, go ahead.
I do it in most of the games that I play, but I only do it when I really need help. Like, if I can see I'm just being stupid, I'm not going to use the map. I'm not going to use the walkthrough. But if I'm at the end of a section and I want to make sure that I got everything before moving on, yeah, I'll go back and I'll retroactively read through a walkthrough or something.
Okay.
So.
Fair enough. Okay. So this to me is always one of the most important questions. I do like to leave the two, at least I feel, the two most important questions for last. Has this changed the way you look at the game, and do you regret doing this?
100%?
Yeah.
I will say doing 100% changes the way I think about starting games.
Okay.
Because I tend to dilly-dally when it comes to the story. A lot of people take the story as it comes and really enjoy those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
I do tend to delay the story in order to find other things to do, in order to make sure I didn't forget anything.
Yeah.
But after doing it for so long, you come to a balance of, like, I need a break from the story because it's either too damn long, too emotional, or I want to do something else for a little bit. And you come to learn a balance with longer games. Because I play a lot of long games.
Yeah.
You hit a balance when it comes to, yeah, right now is side quest time. Or, nah, you've been doing this for a week. Go do the story, dum-dum. I don't think I'd ever stop doing 100% because I see it as a way of getting every little bit of the game out that I can.
Okay.
Like, I know for a fact that if I've done all of these things, that I got everything I could. Mm-hmm. And when I see new things that come past that, I really enjoy those new little things even more. So people telling me about lore that I never noticed before, or a DLC story coming out, I really enjoy more of those because it's stuff I didn't get before. I get to enjoy that because I know I got everything before.
Okay. That sounds really nice. So no regrets?
Not usually, although there's definitely some times where I'm sitting in the middle of nowhere in a game going, why am I doing this? What is going on? Or I've tried to do the same shrine 10 times and I'm just too dumb to figure it out.
So it kind of hit and miss?
Yeah. Okay. Usually in the moment, but once I've done it, it feels good.
Okay. Now, this to me is always the most important question for all of my guests because it's the one that has the most direct impact on the people at home, the people watching and or listening to this. Would you recommend they try to 100% this game? And is there a kind of player that would really enjoy this versus is there a kind of player that would really just bounce off of it and should maybe avoid it for their own sanity?
See, I wouldn't recommend doing it. Unless you really, really, really want to have bragging rights, there's no real need to do everything in a Zelda game. If you do all the shrines and you do all the divine beasts, then you're probably good. You can do all the armor if you want. You can do all the quests if you want. But the shrines are the active puzzle solving. and you get rewarded for doing that. The divine beasts are literally the story. The memories are literally the story, but you don't have to kill all the monsters. You don't have to do all the Korok seeds. You don't have to. The only time I think you maybe would want to do all of them is for bragging rights.
Fair.
Rub it in someone else's face, but you get a piece of poo at the end. It's fine.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed the game and you felt you got your, what is Nintendo racking their prices up to it now? $60 or $70 worth out of that game, you're good.
It's about 80 or 90 Canadian, gotta love it.
Whoop whoop!
Yeah.
But yeah,
I hate it.
if you feel you got your money's worth from that game and you enjoyed it, don't worry about 100%ing anything. And that goes for any game. As long as you enjoyed playing it, go right ahead. Like, there are things in the Hades game that I'm never gonna finish. And I know that full well. I love Hades, but this is the only example I can give of. I'm probably never gonna 100% that game. But it doesn't matter. I'm doing everything that I feel like I need to be doing for that game.
That is fair.
I'm also not moronic enough to turn up the heat all the way. Apparently someone finished that.
Yeah, because it doesn't go past 32 heat.
I have no idea.
Oh,
I didn't look.
That's nuts.
But yeah, like, if you feel the deep desire in your heart to do all the Korok seeds, I mean, I'm doing it for Tears of the Kingdom. I'm about 600 seeds deep right now. At this point, I am getting nothing out of it except filling in my map.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, I look forward to the day when we do an episode on that one that turns out to be 2 hours long.
Well, we'll see.
Okay. It's kind of funny, the number of people I brought on the show, and they love the games that they did. They don't regret doing it, but then they can't bring themselves to recommend it. Even myself, when I'm talking about a game that I've played, it's just some of these games, you love them in the moment and you don't regret doing them, but you don't feel comfortable recommending the same journey to someone else. It's so interesting to me, kind of where that line is.
I think it's because most of us who do try and get all these achievements realize that we're doing more than the average person wants to with a video game. Like, the average experience of a video game is still a really good one. And there is recognizing what is, like, the core part of the game, what is the best parts of the game, and then the extra you get by going the mile. Like, all the people making odd creations in Tears of the Kingdom, they're getting nothing out of that. They like doing it. And most of those creations I have not a goddamn clue how to make. Not a clue. Quantum interlocking. I don't know how they do this stuff. But they find it fun. Could they explain to me how to do it? No. No. I have a friend who loves making redstone creations in Minecraft. I have no clue how she does it. Not a clue. But I also don't play Minecraft to fight. I turn off all the enemies. I can't do that. I just want to explore and build.
Fair.
So, it's how you perceive a game. What do you want to get out of it? And so, for a lot of people who do 100%, we want to get a lot out of this game. For me, it's because I want to see everything. I want to enjoy what they have created. It's a work of art. And if they're giving me something to do, I'm going to do it. So.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, with all that, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond, we've come to the end of the episode. Thank you once again so much for watching and or listening. One more time, the podcast links will be in the description of the YouTube video. The YouTube channel will be linked in the description of the podcast. Please do check it out. I would love to have you. I would love to keep making this for more people, because I'd love to bring in more people who play Nintendo games. I'd love to bring you again on, Rachel, for more Nintendo shenanigans, because it's an eye-opener for me, because Nintendo games have always been kind of a sore spot for me in terms of, like, achievements or the completion rate, because I don't know, I'm very much, I gotta chase that ribbon, I gotta chase that plat, I gotta chase something, and it hurts when I play a Nintendo game and it's not there.
I've got some that have it, though.
Ooh, alright, we'll talk about those later. Oh no. And thank you, Rachel, so much for being here. I loved having you. It was awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
If you are willing, I'd love to have you on in the future, but we can talk about that at a later point. So, once again, thank you everyone so much for being here. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, the YouTube stuff, follow me on the socials. And don't forget, I have the art table coming out on the 14th of every month, the podcast coming out on the 24th of every month, and hopefully starting next year, a couple more videos coming out monthly, but you'll have to wait and see for those. Alright, with all that being said, we'll see you in the next one. Bye!
Bye.